family, I'm so happy you made it back to the channel because today would not have been the same without you. Do y'all notice that I like be moving and stuff every time I do the introduction? Hey y'all, so this is the second video in the mini series. Sorry y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but I can feel it. So this is the second video in the mini series. In this series we're talking about decision making. Are you a logical thinker? Are you an emotional thinker? So in the first video I kind of explained what I meant when I was saying emotional versus logical, but in this video we're going to be doing like pros and cons of both sides. So what are the pros to being an emotional thinker? What are the cons to being an emotional thinker? And the same thing on the other side. What are the pros to being a logical thinker and the cons to being a logical thinker? So like everything, there's positives and negatives on both sides. So we're just going to talk about that in this video, and then in tomorrow's video, the next video in this series, I'm going to be talking about or trying to explain or give us a self-check so that we can tell whether we are more on the emotional side or are we more on the logical side. So that's tomorrow's video. I hope you guys stay tuned. Hey y'all, if you're new, please subscribe to this channel. Let me say that right at the beginning. Please subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything, but it means the world to me. And I'll have more videos like these and just silly little videos that you can watch and have some entertainment. And then I have motivational videos. So come join the channel, come join the family. I'm here for y'all. Like, I love hearing and interacting with y'all. So if you're new, just press that little red button, subscribe. Let's get started on this video. So first, let's talk about emotional thinking, emotional decision making. So if you're more on the emotional side, like you think with your emotions, you make choices and decisions by your emotions, then that means you're probably one of the people who take chances. Like, you take chances that nobody else would even think to take. You do the things that just make you feel good in that moment. You don't spend time thinking about what could go wrong and all of that stuff. You just go for it in that moment. And most of the time, those people who take chances, they get those opportunities that can be here 1 minute and gone the next. So if you're guided by your heart, you're guided by your passions, the things that matter to you, the things that make you feel love, they make you feel excitement, they make you feel like a sense of purpose, you feel passionate about something. So when you have that in your life, if you're passionate about the work that you do, if you're passionate about boyfriend, girlfriend, if you're passionate about your family, your friends, if you have a passion that drives you, it can motivate you to go above and beyond for that person or for that job or whatever it is that you're passionate and motivated, emotionally invested in. It can really drive you to go to the next level in whatever that is. But on the negative side, there could be many pitfalls to being an emotional decision maker, because if you're guided by your emotions at all times without any regard for the consequences or anything like that, if you're guided by your emotions, you just go off how you feel in a moment. Not every circumstance is going to be privy to that type of decision making. Not every circumstance is going to present itself in a way that's positive. So everything isn't going to be exciting. There may be some things that are disheartening. There may be some things that can be enraging. So if you're in a circumstance that's enraging or disheartening, then you may lose your motivation. If it's something that you feel like you're a failure, or you're feeling some type of sadness or some way toward it, then you might end up losing your motivation and not being able to go to the next level. You won't be able to get past it because you're so invested emotionally that you can't look past anything but how you feel. You can't see anything but how you feel. And if you're emotional decision maker and you're in a situation where someone enrages you or something goes so completely left that you just lose it, then that stops you as well. You can't get to the next level because all you see is red. You don't see anything. You don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. You can't figure out the next step because you're so angry. Being emotionally charged, it could get you in a lot of trouble because our emotions are so temporary. They're so temporary, y'all, and they can be so even though they're so temporary, they can be so strong. They can be so just just powerful. Like, our emotions can be so strong in that moment, and everything that you feel like it's a permanent thing. You feel like you're gonna feel like this forever. If you're sad, you feel like it's no way of getting out. If you're angry, you just see your anger, you just see the problem, but you can't see anything outside of your emotions. And that a lot of times, y'all, that causes us to make some really bad decisions, in the moment decisions. That's the thing about being an emotional thinker and being driven by how you feel about something, and just being so passionate that your passion just overcomes you, it controls you almost. If you're that passionate about something and something goes wrong, then that means you're going to end up making some really bad decisions that can really impact the way that you prosper in the future, the way that your life goes in the future. You make a snap decision and it ends up being the wrong decision, and it affects everything else down the line. So that could be some of the cons to being an emotional thinker. So there's some positives, but there's also some cons, just like with being a logical thinker. So if you're a logical thinker, logic, that means you're analyzing everything. You're thinking about step by step. You're trying to plan everything. You're trying to figure everything out. How does this make sense? If it's not logical, then you're like, I don't know, I'm gonna step back. So just like the emotional thinkers who go for things right in the moment, if the opportunity presents itself and it makes them feel good, they go for it. A logical thinker would step back and think about it and try to plan every step and try to fix every little detail, and then you end up losing out on that opportunity. That's very, y'all, that is let me say, that is a case. You can see something, you can see all these different opportunities, and it sounds really good, and maybe it even makes you feel really excited, but then you're like, let me think about this, because everything that glitters ain't gold, and you want to go and fix everything and look at every little tiny detail. You may lose the opportunity. Also, you're over analyzing or over planning things, and a lot of times that makes you miss the just goodness of that moment. So say you're in a relationship, or say you're in, I don't know, you started a job and you're really passionate about it first, and you got a new role. So now you're like over analyzing every piece of that job, and you just lost your joy. You're just so flooded in the facts and the details and every small little minute thing. You're thinking about it all the time, and you just lost the passion. You've lost the passion for that person because you're over analyzing every little argument, every little imperfection about that person. You're over analyzing, or even an imperfection about yourself. You're over analyzing every little tiny detail, because a logical thinker is a person that looks at the details. They care about the details, and if everything isn't perfect, if everything doesn't fit, if it's not making logical sense, then we tend to back away. I feel like I'm more on the logical side of decision making, so I tend to look at things, and like, if it doesn't make sense, I'm like, I don't know, I might pass on that opportunity, or I might pass on that person, because it doesn't make sense to me right now. So if you're a logical thinker, a lot of times our over analyzing, paying attention to every small little detail, the over planning, it could cause us to miss out on opportunities, whether it be like a life-changing opportunity, an opportunity for a new relationship, an opportunity for our job, or we just lose ourselves in the paperwork, we lose ourselves in the evaluation of everything, but we don't get to feel that joy or that passion that we once had for whatever it was. So those can be the cons of being a logical thinker. On the other side, on the positive side, if you're someone who's always looking at the details and you care about the frame of things, if it makes sense, if it fits, then usually you're the one who you can keep things together. You're organized. You're able to look at a situation, or look at some project or something. You can look at it and tell where things need to go, and you're able to fix them. So where everybody else is like zoomed out, looking at the bigger picture, looking at what they think they want, you're able to zoom in and kind of get the smaller, more focused picture. So you're the one who's always looking at the fine details and fixing things, and able to look at things. Or you're a really introspective person. You could be a really introspective person who You have an understanding of yourself because you're focused on the small little details. You know yourself very well because you're always thinking about, how can I grow? How can I do more? How can I do this? How can I do that? So you're using those skills, those logic skills, that helps you to be a more structured person. It helps you, so on a lot of cases, for me at least, it helps me to be more introspective, to look at myself, to see where I need to fix things. I always say more than likely, if you see something wrong with me, I probably already saw it like 5 years ago, so I'm already trying to fix it. So if you're a logical person, you just have a more focused view of things, and you're able to really figure things out and look at and see the next step. You're not blinded by emotions. You're not blinded by just overwhelming passion or overwhelming excitement or just love or just how good you feel about something. You're not blinded by that because you're able to step back and look at whatever the picture is and look at those small details and see where things need to be. So you're a planner. You're one who analyzes. You're able to evaluate things and really see them for what they are, and then make a logical decision for the next step. So now that we've talked about the positives and the negatives of both emotional and logical thinking, it's also important that we understand that neither one of these are wrong per se. It's just when one is out of balance, or you're more emotional, like you tend to just fall into your emotions control every single thing about your life, or if logic controls every single thing about your life, you're always overanalyzing, you're always looking for the details, you're always looking for where's the error, where's the mistake, where's the opportunity to fail. If you're out of balance in these things, that's when it becomes wrong. So one by themselves, they're not wrong. There are a lot of positives on this side, there are a lot of positives on this side, but it's so important that we have a balanced mindset. So don't go too far left, don't go too far right. It's important that we have a balanced mindset. In some cases, you're gonna need to be invested emotionally. You're gonna need to be directed and steered by your heart, by your passion, by your empathy. You're gonna need that, especially when you're dealing with people or you're dealing with something that you're passionate about. It's important that you keep that emotional investment so that you're able to be empathetic, so that you're able to be passionate and keep that drive and keep that motivation. But also it's important that we are logical. It's important that we don't blow up at every bad circumstance. We don't blow up every opportunity that we get. We're not so controlled by our emotions that we miss out on the next level of life because we were stopped by one temporary circumstance that happened. It's important that we're able to plan and make goals, and that we're able to look at those little details and focus in sometimes, and not just look at the big picture, but also be able to focus in and see where we need to fix things, where does something need to be shifted. It's important that we're able to analyze and evaluate parts of our lives, evaluate and analyze our relationships, ourselves, be able to look at ourselves and see where we need to grow. But it's also very important, y'all, that we're balanced, that we're just in one alignment. So don't think that you have to change if you're more of an emotional thinker or you're more of a logical person. I don't have to change that about myself. All I need to make sure is that I am in a balanced mindset. So I need to be intentional maybe about being in my emotions. I need to be intentional and making sure that I'm not just looking at the facts and details all the time, but I'm using my heart, I'm using my emotions. I'm able to be empathetic with people. I'm not just looking at the big picture, but I'm also looking at the person or looking at the purpose behind whatever it is I'm doing. I'm able to get that emotional investment. So if you're one way, don't feel bad. All I'm trying to get through on this video, I need you to make sure that you're being intentional about having a balanced mindset. Nobody can do that for you. You have to do that work. So you have to understand which side you're on. And in the next video, we're going to do a self-check. So I'm going to figure out a way to get us a good self-check to see if we're more of an emotional thinker or more of a logical thinker. But when you figure that out, don't feel bad. All you have to do is figure out a way to be balanced. That's the whole purpose of this video. Not to bash one side or bash the other or say that one side is better than the other, because that's not the case. All we have to do is find the balance between the two, y'all. So those are some of the pros and cons of being an emotional thinker and a logical thinker. So tomorrow we're gonna do the self-check and finish out this series. Yeah, that's the video, guys. I love you so much. I really thank you for watching. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. I love you guys. Thanks so much. Peace and love.